Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I'm at LaGuardia. I'm happy. My destination is MCO and you're coming along with me. It's been over 2 months since my last LaGuardia video, so it's about time I take you with me on one of LaGuardia's runways for another journey. If you haven't been here for a while, you missed out on my cruise ship series aboard the MSC World America. There are 4 videos there that you can watch as I cruise the high seas and enjoy the journey like I do on a plane, from a situationally aware and outward-focused point of view. That's what's going to happen today here at LaGuardia, where immediately after going through TSA at Terminal C, I headed right over to the large windows to check out the operation. Today, LaGuardia is using runway 13 as the departure runway, which will cause mixed emotions for me. Why? Well, today, departing aircraft are being assigned varied climb outs, which can have dramatic effects on what we'll see on our initial climb. The aircraft that you see here is flying the tennis climb, which calls for a left turn shortly after takeoff, resulting in further left-hand turns for aircraft with destinations to the south like me. So I've chosen a seat on the left-hand side of this Airbus A321 because the left turns are ideal for the most exciting views. I'm hoping this 4.5-year-old plane will be assigned that climb or the Whitestone climb, which after a quick right turn provides more left turns around LaGuardia and the city. Okay, I'm heading over to my gate today to board my Airbus A321. I can't wait as always. I'm excited about that runway 13 departure. I have not been off of runway 13 recently. Today, my Delta flight is leaving from the 80s gates. So from TSA, I head east for a short distance before turning left and going down the Grand Escalator to the concourse with 12 gates. I'm getting closer to gate 88 Alpha, my gate from LGA to MCO. Let's go to gate 88 Alpha. Here she is. Slowly boarding Delta 2561. Now, for this video, I won't be providing air traffic control as usual, but rest assured, this video is going to be narrated with an air traffic perspective. That's what this channel is all about. ATC will be featured in future videos. All right, getting ready to board my A321. I'm so thrilled. Today, my seat is in the Comfort Plus cabin, and the only reason why I'm seated here is because I won't be a Platinum Medallion for much longer, and I'm just taking advantage of the free upgrade at booking. It's not like I really need extra legroom. I'm just seated here because it's offered for free. What's most important is that I'm seated on the left side of the plane, because if we fly the tennis or Whitestone climbs, the left side of the plane will be the wing down side with the best views. In a moment, we'll push back under the guidance of the Terminal C ramp controller. As we push back, I'm thinking about our taxi to runway 13 and the climb. We'll talk about the taxi as we taxi out, but let's first focus on our climb. In addition to the tennis or Whitestone climbs, there are 2 more potential climb outs that we could fly off of runway 13. The Goldman departure has us turn right after takeoff to the south, followed by another turn to the northwest, which puts us over the top of Manhattan, making it hard to see below. And then there's the dreaded Nathan's departure, which basically has us turn right to the south, and we just stay that way. Manhattan will be on the right side, but my seat is on the left side. The Nathan's departure keeps us near Nathan's and Coney Island, and is often used for flights whose initial departure fix is SHIPP, which is south of JFK over the ocean. As you can tell from the title of this video, that's the climb that we're going to fly today. So why are we going to SHIPP? Well, we would typically fly a direct route to Florida. This would be via the White intersection, which is in Ocean County, New Jersey, but the route is blocked today by poor weather, so we're going to head out to sea and fly an ocean route quite far off of the eastern seaboard. To do this, our initial departure fix will be SHIPP. SHIPP is located just south of Kismet in Suffolk County, Long Island. More on that later. For now, it's time to taxi to runway 13, and LaGuardia Ground Control on frequency 121.7 has told us to taxi to runway 13 via taxiways Alpha and Echo and hold short of runway 4, which is the landing runway. We enter taxiway Alpha from lane 17, which is on the eastern side of the 80s gates at Terminal C. To get to taxiway Alpha, we simply make a left turn onto the active taxiway system. Alpha is being used by all aircraft departing terminals C and B. Alpha parallels runway 13, our departure runway, and it takes us in the opposite direction of takeoff. Runway 13 remains off of our right side during the majority of the taxi, however it bends around Terminal B before reaching runway 4 to parallel runway 4 at its midpoint. It ends at taxiway Echo, and we're told to hold short of runway 4 at Echo. Echo crosses runway 4, and in order to get to runway 13, we need to cross runway 4, so when we're on Echo, we can expect the ground controller to have us cross runway 4. Echo is at runway 4's midpoint, and crossing it here allows arrivals on runway 4 to vacate runway 4 past the midpoint on taxiways Foxtrot, Quebec, Gulf, Papa, and beyond, and then they can use taxiway Bravo to get to terminal C or B. We will only be told to cross runway 4 when there's no airplane in front of us, the hold short line at Echo, and there's no landing traffic on short final approach to runway 4. Once these conditions are met, the controller will tell us to cross runway 4 on Echo and then turn right on one of several taxiways that lead to runway 13. For us, that right turn will be on Bravo Bravo. Here comes the critical crossing of runway 4. We have crossed runway 4. Arrivals can land on it as we continue on Echo to the second right taxiway, Double Bravo, which comes after Double Alpha. After Double Bravo is taxiway Double Charlie, and after that is taxiway Double Delta. And our turn on to Double Bravo is strategic because the ground controller is staggering planes on various double-lettered taxiways depending on what their departure fix is. There are 4 taxiways that the controller can stage planes on, and in a moment you'll see that there are planes being staged on Double Charlie and Double Delta. These flights have departure fixes that are not yet ready to accept them, so they have to wait it out on the ground near the beginning of runway 13. This way, when their time comes, they can easily get out to the runway. Controllers in other airborne air traffic control facilities communicate what they can and cannot accept from LaGuardia to the LaGuardia controllers, who relay this information to the pilots and ask them to hold. Our departure fix of SHIPP is able to accept us with no delay, so we're able to bypass the planes on Charlie Charlie and Delta Delta and simply follow the airplanes ahead of us that are also good to go with their departure fixes. We've been switched over to the control tower frequency of 118.7 as we follow another Delta plane to the runway. After taxiway Bravo Bravo, we take taxiways Gulf and Papa all the way to runway 13. We're very lucky today because this expeditious taxi bypassing other planes gets us to the runway right away, but we're going to SHIPP, which means an extended, out-of-the-way Oceanic flight path, which will make this flight longer than normal. As we turn, we see 2 737s. The United 737 is on taxiway Charlie Charlie, and the Southwest 737 is on taxiway Delta Delta, and behind them is the Manhattan skyline. This is basically the last time I'll get to see the tall buildings because of our Nathan's climb out, which will call for a right turn after takeoff to 179 degrees, placing Manhattan on the right side of the plane. The 179-degree heading brings us to a point called Kiwi, which we cross at or above 2,500 feet or below 220 knots. Kiwi is located directly over the Queens Criminal Court on Queens Boulevard. From Kiwi, we will fly heading 204 to a fix called Nathan's at or above 3,000 and at or below 220 knots. Nathan's, named for Nathan's famous hot dogs, is actually not in Coney Island, but near Aqueduct Racetrack near the corner of Bristol Avenue and Centerville Street. Next, it's heading 230 to Canarsie at or above 5,000 feet and at or below 230 knots. Canarsie is located in Jamaica Bay, just south of the Canarsie Pier. Then it's heading 224 to Assault, which is just southwest of the southwest tip of Breezy Point. Then, we can expect radar vectors from air traffic control to SHIPP. We're now awaiting instructions for the tower controller to tell us to line up and wait. On the right side of the screen, we see 2 signs, P and 13. P indicates we're on taxiway Papa, and 13 indicates that we're holding short of runway 13. We will not be able to enter the runway until the Delta plane ahead of us gets takeoff clearance. The Delta plane ahead of us won't get takeoff clearance until the intersection with runway 4 can be confirmed as clear with no traffic on short final approach. You never know if an arrival on runway 4 will have to go through the intersection with runway 13. We are now being told to line up and wait on the 7,000-foot long runway 13. We are now in position, and we wait. The Delta flight ahead of us is now airborne, and a plane is slowing down on runway 4. The tower is carefully monitoring that arrival to see if it can slow down and vacate runway 4 before the intersection of runway 13. In this scenario, it will, but before the controller can issue us takeoff clearance on runway 13, he must ensure that there's no other plane about to touch down as well on runway 4. The good thing about this configuration is that the intersection of runway 13 with runway 4 is pretty far down, and we can cross runway 4 right away as we start our takeoff roll. All is clear now, so we are cleared for takeoff. As we start our climb, the tower controller hands us off to the New York TRACON controller on frequency 120.4. This controller is located in Westbury, New York. We're now starting our right-hand turn to Kiwi over the Queens Criminal Court as we continue our climb to 5,000 feet, but the controller typically assigns higher altitudes as air traffic allows. The right turn to Kiwi keeps us south and is designed to keep us away from JFK airport operations. We will see JFK off to the left soon, but Manhattan is now on the right side of the plane. We do have a wonderful view, however, of the density of Queens, New York down below. Coming into view on the right is Casena Park, one of the many parks that add green spaces to New York City as we fly over Flushing Meadows Corona Park. Now, remember that the purpose of this climb out is to bring us to SHIPP. We're here now, and we need to get here. So when we're done with the initial climb, we'll need to turn to the left to head out to SHIPP. In a moment, we're going to fly from Kiwi to Nathan's, which will allow us to nearly be parallel with the runways in use at JFK. Today, JFK is using the 4s, which is important to know since they do not interfere with operations like ours. The 13s at JFK are not in use, and we'll see that soon. The airspace on our right side between us and Manhattan is being used for straight-in arrivals to LaGuardia's runway 4, flying in the opposite direction that we are. We're now heading to Nathan's, the namesake for this climb, and a reference to Nathan's hot dogs, which will be visible on the right side of the plane, although at a distance, so it should be hard to pick out on Coney Island. We'll continue to fly straight, and the next two fixes we'll fly over, Canarsie and Assault, will require barely any noticeable turns at all. As a matter of fact, once we get over Assault, we'll just keep flying straight. While I'm happy to be flying over New York City, we could have seen more if we went the other way, and we must take advantage of the city views now, because in a few moments, this will become an Oceanic flight, which is really disappointing for a domestic flight within the USA. The turn we're making now is likely a radar vector from the departure controller. This side provides a great view of JFK Airport. Here we're looking down runways 13 left and 13 right, but they're not in use. As I mentioned, only runway 4 left and 4 right are in use, which keeps operations at JFK parallel to operations at LaGuardia. Everyone is either headed northeast or southwest. If you look carefully, you can see how runway 4 right is being used for arrivals, while runway 4 left has a departure queue next to it. We're now talking to another departure controller responsible for the airspace around JFK Airport. We're done with LaGuardia. And, as you can see, there's water down there. That's Jamaica Bay, and once we get past Jamaica Bay, we'll be flying over the Atlantic Ocean for the remainder of the flight until we reach the coastline just outside of Orlando. This is going to be a rather dull flight, so we need to take advantage of these final moments of seeing the land and trying to focus on spotting JFK flights sharing this airspace. We're now in a left-hand turn issued by the controller. Before proceeding directly to SHIPP, the controller typically sends flights like this to the east, paralleling the south shore of Long Island before turning right to SHIPP. This is the first turn we make to elongate the flight. Orlando is south, and they're sending us east. We're looking at Floyd Bennett Field and the Rockaways as we turn to the east. Doing this makes me feel like I'm on a flight that just took off from JFK and is headed to an eastern departure fix, which are often reserved for flights from JFK to Europe. Passengers on that route will often see something very similar to this, especially if they took off on runway 31 left with a left-hand turn after takeoff, making a U-turn to the east. But I'm just going to Orlando. That's a great view of the Barrier Island down there. It separates Jamaica Bay from the Atlantic. The Barrier Island is part of Queens and will eventually be part of Nassau County. Yes, we will go so far east that we'll actually fly past part of the south shore of Nassau County before we're issued our turn to proceed to SHIPP. Once we get to SHIPP, we can follow the prescribed jet routes all the way down to the south, but we have to adhere to strict airspace restrictions right now in the busy New York City airspace. We've been in the air for several minutes now, and we could potentially be higher than we actually are if given an unrestricted climb, but we can't go too high because the airspace above us is actually reserved for flights going to JFK coming in from the north and the west. Yes, even though JFK is close by, there's another layer of JFK arrivals above us. These flights will descend to the southeast over the ocean after flying past us, and then we'll be given a series of radar vectors to the right and descending over the Atlantic Ocean to line up with runway 4 right. This can take an additional 10 to 15 minutes for them, and because I know they're up there, despite being able to see my last sights of land, I'm also looking up. And I'm in luck, because in a moment, the world's longest flight is going to pass right over us. Here it is, a Singapore Airlines A350 from Singapore to JFK. Wow, that was worth seeing. That flight is scheduled for nearly 19 hours and 9,500 miles. That's a lot less than what we're up for, but we're making progress as ATC is now clearing us directly to SHIPP. We can now get handed off to the High Altitude Air Route Traffic Control Center and proceed on course over the ocean. As we turn, we get our last glimpse of land. It's Long Island as we look into its east at Nassau and Suffolk County. And after that, we won't be seeing much for a long time. Well, that was a great departure off of runway 13 at LaGuardia, and it was pretty rare, but we flew to SHIPP today. I was actually expecting to go to White. White is located near Toms River, New Jersey, which means that we would be flying over land for at least the first portion of the flight. Unfortunately, SHIPP leads to the ocean, and this is my view. Not only can I see the ocean, it's really cloudy down there, making the rest of this journey to Orlando really miserable. No, I'm not going to switch to watch a movie on the in-flight entertainment screen. I'm going to keep looking out the window with hopes of seeing something. I do look at the IFE, however, to see the map, and you can see how far out we're going. This is going to add at least 30 minutes to our flight today. Even though I'm not enjoying the view right now, I know that I'm not paying for a seat, even though I'm in an extra legroom seat. I'm paying for a window, and I have one, just like every other passenger in an A or F seat. Well, except for those in rows 12, 19, and 39, which are rows that lack windows. Let's take a moment to watch the view with some sound. A land route is a lot more exciting than this. Here's our progress. We're way out of the way, but at least we're turning towards Orlando now. I kept looking and looking and looking for other planes out there until I finally spotted this, a Frontier Airlines A320. This was worth it and the highlight of the en route phase of flight. As we approached the Orlando airport on the arrival procedure, it started to get darker outside. Flying over water in darkened conditions isn't the greatest, but I'm looking forward to seeing some land soon. You can see here that we're approaching the coastline. All right, finally I'm starting to see some land down there. We're approaching the Florida coastline at Cape Canaveral, which juts out into the Atlantic Ocean. We're headed west and need to head inland a bit further, then turn left to land. Today, we'll be landing on runway 17 left, the eastern runway at Orlando. The lights that we see on the mainland are Titusville, Florida. We continue for many miles over a low-density area, then approach control has us line up with the runway over the sprawling Orlando area. Then we'll be handed off to the control tower for clearance to land. Let's land at MCO. I've never pulled into this particular concourse here at MCO. Interesting. I guess it's a spillover gate area for Delta. All right, everybody, I'm gonna head over to the train right now. I'm gonna end the video here in the atrium, here in the Delta area at MCL. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, I invite you to click on the subscribe button below, hit the bell button, and you know that I'll be back again with another video just like this. See ya. With all the traveling I do, I find myself just sitting for hours on an airplane, and I need a way to make up for that, so I use my YesSol G1M Plus for a regular cardio workout. A breeze to put together, and at a great price point, this is the best stationary bike I've ever had. With so much time spent sitting, this is a great fit for my lifestyle, and using it doesn't take me away from what I need to do. It's all about fun cardio, as this bike features wired multimedia casting, making a typical cardio workout transformed into something enjoyable. I mean, who doesn't enjoy watching Peter Masella's YouTube channel while working out? I know I certainly watch my channel all the time, even when I'm not working out, because the screen rotates 360 degrees, so I can watch the screen when not sitting on the bike. I love having an additional screen in my home in a place where I normally would not have one. What a great feature! Working out and enjoyment go hand in hand with YesSol. As a traveler, I love this feature, which allows me to feel like I'm biking abroad. And when I want to take things very seriously, I just tune into instructor-led courses. I always leave it to the pros to tell me what to do. I'm an expert as an airline passenger, but I'm not an expert trainer. And statistics are always available to me. These are some fantastic metrics that provide me with the right information at the right time. And I'm not the only one who uses YesSol.
Hey, this is Peter Sr. here. I'm using YesSol on a regular basis, and let me tell you, it's working wonders for me as well.
That's right, my dad loves using this product. After all, he also sits on airplanes a lot and needs the cardio workout. I've caught him using my YesSol bike on multiple occasions. He's especially fond of the 4-speaker system and 2 subwoofers for exceptional sound quality. As a viewer of this channel, you can take advantage of my discount code in the description below. It's exceptionally affordable. Imagine watching Netflix or the news or airplane videos while biking or at any angle. What a deal this is. That's right, you heard it. You can get a great discount with my code. You just gotta do it.